Well, I think there's a huge power that comes from people connecting across different communities. So while there might be Somali people and Chinese people and people from Jordan and New Zealand, actually, when communities come together and share their ideas, their problems, the solutions that they want to see, that becomes a potent force. So while this might look like an event, it's actually much more. It's the beginning of relationships. It's the beginning of conversations. It's the beginning of problem solving. And I think underpinning this conference is the idea of connecting people, sharing information, and growing together. And that's what I saw in that room before.
So I was really privileged and honoured to take part in the plenary Health's Sake. What I gathered and what my impressions were is that health is of vital and critical importance for ethnic communities.
Well, it was amazing because I think the conversation itself is developing. It's moving forward. I've been doing this work for a very long time, and I'm starting to feel a new social awareness. And I think at both of the conferences I've been at, I'm starting to see a much deeper conversation about issues we have been having a conversation about for a long time. But I'm feeling that there's a deeper understanding. And my impression is that we're not only poised to have a better quality conversation, but also a deeper conversation. And it's really a challenge to a lot of the leaders here. To not only do things differently, but be things differently and take these conversations back into their workplace. And that's one of the things we do at Courageous Conversation, is give people that idea, okay, so we're writing about these changes, we want to change the world, how do we actually change the world? How do we move into more equitable healthcare, education, justice systems? And how do we also benefit from this huge amount of ethnic diversity? So I think that this is the conversation is becoming more advanced, it's deepening, and I want to applaud that because I think we need it.
I'm told that there's about 250 people in the room. That's going to be incredible. People from all sorts of backgrounds, races, cultures, and just to have that kind of melting pot of different perspectives, experiences, skills, opinions, I think there'll be some really rich conversations to be had.
I love PACS's storytelling. Always been a fan for a while. I haven't actually gotten the opportunity to work with Pax, but I've worked with James Roke, one of his comedy partners, and it's the way he relates his experience and stories to, I guess, the general audience that's really special, I think. It's something that, I enjoy when I work with my artists, to observe the connections that they create because of their ability to communicate in a particular way. And that particular way usually is through compassion, empathy, understanding, and also entertainment. But I think, it was watching a master storyteller at work. It was great.
Yeah, really important. I hate to go back to March the 15th, but March the 15th brought Christchurch especially together. Well, it brought the country together. And I think anything that builds on that, it was a horrific event, but it's important to build on that. And we started to talk, we started to have conversations, and we started to be okay to ask questions. And that's what I think a day like this is, that it's okay to have a lunchtime conversation and ask some questions that you wouldn't ask on the street. And some of that's around how different people see things. And it's very interesting to see, we always have to remind ourselves to walk in someone else's shoes. And as funders and as council and as local government, and I think as central government as well, that days like this are the ones that bring you back to earth, bring you back to the ground and go, this is why we do it, these are the people, this is why we do it. Without them, we wouldn't be doing it.
We spoke of a lot of different themes and topics. An area that I spoke about was there are a lot of young ethnic youth that are high achievers and accomplished, and I can see that we are working towards opening doors for further career opportunities and things like that. But what I see the next step for us to do is what happens once they get into those positions, those areas that someone of minority background has never entered into. How can we support them so they know, if things don't go right, or just even support in general, how can we empower them? That's an area that I would like to explore more and have further discussion on, because our young people are breaking barriers and paving ways not only for themselves but also for other people to come and follow.
Big thank you to the MEC staff, ground staff, and comms team of those flew down from Wellington, I assume. You guys have done a fantastic job, and the setup of the meeting, the topic of the meeting, within such a short period of time to put it all together is a big job, and they've done a great job, and really enjoyed it, and lots of really good positive feedback from the audience as well. So.
I think the community needed to know what we were talking about. It was not those hard questions about the health, which are very, very important, but also what we can do as a society, how important actually art is, and the things that we can do to art to actually change society in a very positive way. So, and in a fun way as well, and in a collaborative way, and the importance of having organizations, small groups, and all society working together and helping each other.
I guess the conference organized in such a way that there was key topics, interesting topics in different aspects. Right, starting from the key speakers, Abbas Nazari, who is from the same community as me, so that was quite inspiring. I loved it, and followed by the other speakers. It was great. It was great, yeah.
The Coming of Age conference, where there were 3 young youth that spoke about what it was like for them to come to New Zealand, and what they had to experience, what they had to see, and how they had to adapt to New Zealand culture, as well as affirming their own identity, and how they interwove both of those different cultures in between, and just made an even more beautiful, ethnically united, multicultural nation.
There's so many moments, and there's one particular one I was really emotional and attached was to listen to the speech brought by Abbas Nazari, and it really empowered me that I want to read his book. And it's those people who have experience I never would have thought they would existing in my world. It's such nice, storyteller to share his experience and to let people to raise the awareness. There's minor groups that need support, need help, especially for new migrants come over here. I was a migrant here, and with the support and the help, and you feel belonging to this place, and you feel beloved, and you see here as home. You truly feel New Zealand is a safe and peaceful place to be a home. That was a really touch moment when I hear his story. Yeah.
During my workshop, with members of our ethnic communities, it really just told me how important, that experience really showed me how important that the work that we do for our communities. Not only are we here to, learn and support, but we're also here to celebrate our diversities. Yeah.